Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. Joined by Mike in the studio. It could have been so different for many different reasons. Many different things that happened in it. Because it was eventful without having any goals in it.
Yeah, it was the best Merseyside derby for a while, wasn't it? It was up and down, end to end. Could have had goals in it. And it also felt like one of those games that if Liverpool had scored, we could have gone down the other end and scored. And if we'd done the same, the same with the other end, it was a good game, and that's really good for us. That because it shows where we've come in a small amount of time, in terms of the discipline of the team, the organisation of the team, and then on Saturday I think it improved just to the possession and being brave. Being brave and having a team that we believe in and we're happy with. So yeah, it was obviously there was moments in the game that made it, just little moments, obviously the offside goal and things like that. But a really, really good game, and let's hope that's the direction we're going in. It
was for me the best derby since the 3-3 under Martinez, and that was another game where there was loads of chances. I think Mignolet got the record that day for the most saves in the derby, which was 9. Jordan Pickford had 8 at the weekend, but a good game, and like Ped said, hopefully that's something for us to build on.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like what Ped said there, I think the positive is going and watching us actually take it to Liverpool and not just sit back and hang in there. Yeah, we took it to them, we gave them a game and give them as much as we got. So it was exciting to be able to see some sort of plan on the pitch, some sort of progression, and a threat going forward, albeit just not quite getting that goal. But
obviously the team news was pretty much what we expected.
Yeah.
Obviously Neil Maupay making his debut, giving Everton a focal point at the top end of the pitch. Dwight McNeil dropped down to the bench for that, and Everton, I thought Everton started the game really well. He were up for it. The crowd, obviously, they'd had the bus welcome, which was fantastic. You touched on it in another show, there'd been some nonsense before with both sets of fans with murals and putting stickers on. Let's just get rid of all that.
Let's say it's called what it is. Absolute wankers out there who are causing trouble that doesn't need to be caused. And it's probably a handful of idiot kids, and it needs to be knocked on the head from both sides. It's pathetic, that's what it is. Because it makes... Listen, I don't want a friendly derby. I don't want any of that nonsense. I want it to be, when there's a game of both, I want it to be horrible. I want it to be really, really horrible. But that's just the day of the game. The rest of the time, we're fine. We get on with each other. We live in a city with each other. That's pathetic. It's nonsense. It's tit for tat. And it's, at the end of the day, because of a couple of people with spray cans, it's going to cost people a lot of money and causing a lot of issues between the fan bases that doesn't need to be there.
No.
While we're at the game, it's fantastic. I love having that rivalry. I don't want it to be the friendly rivalry. I don't want anyone I seen a kid walking down the Galaxy with a full Liverpool kit on, and I thought, if you go anywhere near inside that ground, lad, I will make sure I stumble on you. Right? He was only about 6. I would have been made up. But the thing is, though, I don't want to see anybody in our end that's a Liverpool fan. I don't never want to see that again. Never want to see that ever again. You stick to your end, and the same when we go to your ground, and that's it. And they want a proper rivalry. So to see that, it's nonsense, and they're not proper fans. I don't care what anyone says, because I wouldn't waste my energy on Liverpool to do something like that, because all it causes is trouble amongst the fan base. It's like someone's doing it who's not even like an Everton Liverpool fan. It's like someone's just come down like a mank or something.
They're just doing it on both sides.
And it's pathetic, and it needs to be knocked on the head. And I'm glad to see that the murals have been cleaned up and that kind of thing, because it's not right. You should be able to appreciate your legends in your club without some dickheads coming down and doing that. So just knock it on the head. It's absolutely pathetic, and I'm sure everyone who watches this agrees with me, except maybe a booting 6-year-old. But
I think most of the agree with that, to be honest.
But like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I love that rivalry. I love a proper rivalry, and when you win, you get to thrown in the face, whenever that is. And when you lose, and when you've seen a good game like Saturday, you get to sit in and have a conversation with them like I have today, going, you know, and we've all agreed it was a great game, but we've all agreed that there's no room for that kind of behaviour.
But as for the game, Everton started really well. I mean, what did you make of Neil Maupay's performance? We'll talk about him a bit more later, or as we go on, but coming in and obviously being a centre forward made a big difference to Everton how we play. We've tried other things up there, you know, and we've had Salomon Rondon who's coming to the end of his career, so he's never going to be the same. But Maupay's full of good movement, got hold of the ball for us, brought other players into play. Okay, it's ended up missing a glorious chance, but first game of the season and all that. But just as a framework, I
thought he'd give us a glimpse of what he's going to be, to be honest. I think I saw a stat that he'd ran more than anyone else in the game, which obviously a good stat compared to what we probably got out of Rondon.
Yes.
So yeah, bit of mobility. Obviously, you can tell he's lacking that little bit of sharpness. I don't think he played the game for Brighton, had he, before?
No, not this season.
So hasn't played the game, so probably missed out on a few pre-seasons and stuff. So no, I thought just in terms of making us have a framework, like you say, to work towards. Yeah, absolutely. You can see what he's going to do. And Calvert-Lewin's fit and he comes back. Will he stay in the team? I don't know. But for right now and having a backup, I think he's a real good option and a different type of option as well. He's a little bit more, and a bit more Richarlison-y in terms of the way that he'll sort of play and fight and chase down and stuff. So good start. Very good start. Promising start. Yeah.
What did you make of?
Yeah, I thought he did well. I think, you know, as Mike said there, he's not the same as Dom. He's a lot smaller, isn't he? And for a start, he's got a low centre of gravity, and he'll back into people, and he'll try and be clever and get the ball around the corner. And he's got good movement. You know, obviously he's not exactly renowned for his goal scoring as such, but he creates good opportunities. And at the game, I mean, I thought we started not slowly, but for the first 10-15 minutes, Liverpool dominated it, and it was just about us keeping our shape and keeping not in the game, but just growing into it. Grow into it, and you know what they're going to start like 100 miles an hour. It's about calming them down, not conceding. I think we did that really well. And I think there's sometimes, I think fans sometimes can misinterpret how you start a game. They want you to be blood and thrust and everything else and go out and it's like, no, keep your shape. For 15 minutes, just keep your shape, and that's what we did really well. Whereas I think Klopp was a bit like, these will get excited here, and we'll drag them out their spaces, and we'll fill the spaces, and that's what he was looking for. And I thought we dealt with that really well. I think we just kept our shape and grew into the game. And Maupay just gave us that little bit of a platform to build off, and you know, which we haven't had in the last few games, and that's so noticeable. Someone you can give the ball to and get it back. But also, having a centre forward, you've got to understand that they are going to do things and open up the game and find opportunities. And you know, I think the first one we saw of that was when Maupay got into the area, dragged it across, and Anthony Gordon's he's just standing there basically waving it out
on
of play.
Well, we're going to have a look at that on the stills, obviously. I actually thought we started relatively well, and I thought Everton controlled the first half. But this was the first instance here, and we've got Tom Davies. Liverpool have knocked the ball, trying to play out from the back, and we've got 5, including Tom Davies, who for some reason isn't on the screen there, but he wins the ball. We've got 5 players on the edge of their box straight away, so if we just take it on, the ball comes to Damari Gray and he commits them. You can see Maupay, who's making the run, and we've still got Anthony Gordon, and we've got a Wobie in there. We go on again. This is where Gray just feeds it through to Maupay, who gets a lovely little turn, and you can see Anthony Gordon next to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and what Gordon should do is make the run in and expect Maupay to hit it across. If he take it again, it's too late. He's hit it across, and Gordon now reacting. Whereas if he'd have gone in, look where Trent Alexander-Arnold is and where Anthony Gordon is. And Anthony Gordon commits himself. He's got to tap him from 2 yards out. If you take it on again, this is from this side. So Maupay's about to strike the ball, and already Trent Alexander-Arnold's making his way back to the post. Therefore, Gordon should be going with him to stay on side, because get yourself as close to the goal as possible. We've got the arrow, and then on the next one is the ball's come across. Gordon still almost in exactly the same position. Trent Alexander-Arnold's gone back, and yet he reacts. The ball goes past him, and that was in the first 10 minutes. We could have had the little tap in there. I think I think you're right with Maupay. Is going to start creating those kind of things, because strikers who can take the ball into the feet naturally will go one way or the other and try and get a shot away. And if you're playing up with them, get yourself close to the goal as possible. Innit? Keeper makes a parry, you've got to tap in, or you know, if he hits in, it breaks to him. Where I think maybe Anthony Gordon, I don't know, maybe it's just not natural for that, but he's got to make that natural, because he then will, his goal output will go way up.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. No, I agree. I think, you know, it's with those sort of situations there. The positive though from it is we've got people in the box. And I noticed that early on as well. I think there was it in the first half as well, Maupay slipped in Onana.
Was it in the first 5 minutes?
Should have had a shot.
You know, and Onana, he got forward as well. So people are starting to try and get into the box, but they probably need to just get used to how they all play. He's been there a week, hasn't he? And he is a very different type of centre forward than what they'll have been working with Calvert-Lewin and Rondon. So I think it'll come. Hopefully, Gordon's only young, isn't he? And he's got to get used to it. But there's just a lot more positives to be able to watch the game and have these moments and have these little bits of regret, I suppose, and talk about now. We haven't had that for years. Well, so it's positives.
There was obviously the other one as well, with probably the closest we come to scoring in the first half, which again was Everton. Because what I thought he'd done really well was, because they had the energy of Onana and Iwobi, and then Tom Davies playing there give us something as well. We were able to go and break their press, and we done it, which ended up with Patterson winning 2 tackles, putting an early cross in. Maupay goes for it again, striker making a forwards run. Ball breaks and Tom Davies, the outside of his foot. It's the inside of the post. It could go anywhere. It's the inside of the post. If it goes straight, Anthony Gordon's got to tap in, and it doesn't, it goes between them. I know we'll talk about it with a bit of luck we had in a minute, but it bounces back to a Liverpool player, and that was a moment, wasn't it? Again,
because
showing you pressed. We almost get a goal.
Again, no, that's bravery, isn't it? Having a centre forward in the box. Patterson puts a cross in, it comes back out, he wins it, he puts another one in, it falls. I think Maupay gets a touch on, and then got their player. And then Davies, who's in the box as well, gets a shot off, and it's the post. And it's the bravery of being able to put more men in the box, because you've got the energy in midfield, and it's also having a centre forward that you think you can cross the ball to as well. That hasn't been there for a little bit. And what we've been tending to do in the early games is get to the edge of the box and turn round and let them get set. But that shows, if you put a cross in, mistakes can happen, the ball can drop. If you have men in there,
stop getting winning corners off.
And all that kind of thing, and we end up hitting the post, and for a little bit more whip on the outside of Tom Davies' foot, that's it. The goalie's beat, and they're the margins, but at least that's a chance. You're creating a couple of chances. You've got the tenacity to win the ball back as well. You've got that little bit of zip about your game as well. Everyone's hungry, and the midfield's not getting outrun either. We're not watching. It's not Andre Gomez, is it? It's not labouring back. It's not Allen labouring back. It's a midfield that can
it's not
get
3
round.
against 2 either.
Exactly. It's 3 in there. Suddenly the penny's dropped. But it has to be the right 3, doesn't it? It has to be. Although Frank Arnold, the manager before me, very guilty of not playing 3 in midfield. But then we've been out overrun. But we heard Frank Lampard before. He mentioned it in one of his press conferences or one of the interviews, saying about playing 3. He was like, we could never have played 3 at the back today and then played 2 midfield. You just couldn't have done it. So hopefully going forward, this is how we play, and a bit more luck and a bit more, bit more training and a bit more coaching, and then you hope the goals will come.
I think just going off the back of that, and obviously we saw those 3 in midfield, and then obviously later on we saw Gueye come on as well, and was phenomenal again. So if he'd never been away, but did that give you confidence the way we played through midfield? Because we're up against the top side. I know, they didn't have Henderson in that midfield or whatever, but the competitor Fabinho, I thought, was Liverpool's best player really, or one of a couple who stood out. But yet Everton kind of dominated the midfield area. But I was so impressed with how comfortable we were on the ball. Iwobi, even Tom Davies, who people want to tell you didn't have a good game, but he did. He had a really good game. And obviously Amadou Onana, who just looks like he's getting better every game.
No, I think you're right. I think that when you're watching that midfield, that makeup there, what I thought was interesting, when I'd seen the lineup, I thought Tom Davies plays the 6, and I know Onana swapped and Garner come on, which is good that he can do both. But I thought it would be Davies sat there, but I thought it worked perfect because Onana's athleticism in the 6. I think that's why we could get a bit further forward. And he was just absolutely everywhere, and he takes the ball under pressure, doesn't he? And his thought is to try and get that ball moving forward. And I think it was, like I say, look, it's not rocket science and it's how most football teams normally play. But for us, we haven't seen it for years, have we?
But is it a case, Mike? Because we've obviously been screaming for it, and I know the times you were in here last season, we were all saying the same thing. But the manager might turn around and go, I never felt like I had three I could play together. When I look at them and I see them in training, the two of the same. We'd say, well, just an extra body in there, so you're lightening the load of these other players. But the way he probably looked at it was, we're better off with another defender in there, which is what we ended the season doing. And ultimately, he was right, because it kept us up. Where there was a lot of, don't forget, there was a lot of talk from Frank Lampard at the end of the season about athleticism and making us robust this season. And then the summer recruitment has gone and done that. It's given us Amadou Onana, who looks unbelievable. It's given us, Alex Iwobi has just turned into, I don't know, some unbelievable centre midfield player. That little trick in the second half, mate, unbelievable feat. But he's just enjoying it, and the crowd are with him. So now he knows he can give a ball away, and it's not really going to matter, because.
But he gives it away and tries to win it back.
Exactly, that was me thing.
He used to amble around and watch it.
Having the three now, and then you look on the bench. We were talking off camera before, and you've still got James Garner to add into the mix. Alan's there now. He was a first choice. Abdoulaye Doucouré. He was also a first choice.
I'd be interested, and I was saying off camera, I'd be interested to see Doucouré in a 3, because I think a lot of Everton fans have sort of wrote him off a bit after the second half of last season, but he's been just doing donkey work in a 2 with someone who's like a sloth, and he's running around there like this chicken. It'd be interesting to see what he can do when he can break Onana's sat, and it gives us options.
What would be? Well, I mean, I think there'll be moments maybe where Onana may have to go off or whatever, or he's on a yellow card or whatever. That's who you want. That's who you'd bring on, isn't it? You'd go like for liking for the sides, because you need the sides for the set pieces. But where Tom was really good was, it was times in the game, and I think Iwobi did this as well, where we almost went to a 4-4-2, and Tom would go right alongside Maupay when they had the ball and cut off the lanes into Fabinho. And I think he did that quite a lot. The pair of them did that. They took turns and just let Onana sit a little bit deeper. And we were playing like a traditional 4-4-2. Only when they had the ball, just to stop them being able to get the ball through.
And what he'd done well as well, Tom Davies, was when Patterson was bombing on, he just dropped into right back and let Patterson bomb forward, which is obviously it's what Liverpool do, and that's what City do, isn't it? In that formation.
We did under
Tom's an intelligent player.
McCarthy and Gareth Barry are just dropping.
Tactically, Tom's an intelligent player. It's just that we know
he's lacking some attributes, obviously, but he's a good squad player to have.
I don't know.
Looks fit.
I'll never ever understand why anyone wouldn't want him around an Everton squad.
I don't get
to me, it's just like this. It's so low maintenance.
And you cognitive bias.
And you can just throw him on there and do a job. And then it's like, I thought he was.
If you look at Everton's midfield now, which is unbelievable that the managers managed to turn we'd all sit and go, this midfield's shocking, into like 6 players. Now in general, any of them 3, I don't think any of us, maybe if it was Tom Davies, Allen and Doucouré, we might go, not convinced by that. But in general, any of the other combinations, you'd go, that's sound. Do you know what I mean? And like, yes, we want Onana and we want Iwobi in there, and we probably want Garner Gueye in there, or Doucouré with, like you just said, Doucouré who's able to break on. But if it was like,
it's good being able, because you got the 5 sub rule now. And obviously they planned that 60 minutes bang on, didn't he, Tom Davies? If you can say to someone as well, and they're starting that game knowing they're only playing 60 minutes,
put it in.
Their effort levels of what they're putting into that game is very different than if they're thinking of managing that energy to last 90 minutes. They can go out and give you absolutely everything.
Don't forget, we talk about the reason why I'm always banged on about Doucouré, and some people disagree with me, it's fine, but when we took Doucouré out of that team last year, there's no one else can do it. People might go, gives the ball away. Yeah, mate, but he also does loads of running that you might notice if you want.
Covering depends so many positions.
He's in the midfield too, with like Alan or with Andre Gomez or Tom Davies, and he's up against 3 and he's doing the job. Yeah, he's loose with the ball, I get it. And at times it was dangerous because.
But that's why you want him higher up.
But if you had 3 and him able to break into the box, he got half a dozen goals a season for Watford in not a very good Watford team. So you had him as well in there. But if you're taking. Like Saturday, we took Tom Davies off, and okay, there was an upgrade because Garner come on, and you've seen that in the game. But if you're taking, like you just said, Onana 70 minutes and he's on a booking and you're thinking, this is getting risky. The Corey comes on.
Yeah.
There'll be a little drop off, but you're dropping off to a fella who can run and cover everywhere. Yeah. And you've got another 2 with you, or if you're looking for that energy or someone.
I think on Saturday, if he had the Corey, you'd have brought him on for Onana. Once Onana had the knock. Yeah. Because I thought, just one thing, and I was picked up on it, and I thought it was good to see. Did you see when he went down the second time after it, and Pickford come out, done an actual captain, and was just like, look, mate, you've just got... You can tell him, he's like, you've got to keep going, come on.
Yeah. You know, like, he did as well.
And
Conor Cody.
Yeah.
Conor Cody went, get up, get that up, and just get on with it, mate.
See that.
And he was like that, and he was.
I mean, like you say, like the few times when I've been in, all we've ever talked about is lack of leaders, and to have that now and as well is it is exciting. It's not exciting in terms of, we're going to win this, we're going to win that, but it just feels like A, it's going in the right direction, and B, there's a team of players and men that you can get behind in terms of, like, not like that, get behind them. Like
we both just said, me and Ped said it, and I think I probably said it to you or I said it to someone over the weekend, is that the team's starting to get a bit of likeability. And once you've got a bit of likeability in your team, you do get behind it, and even when it doesn't go perfect, there's not like, it's not the worst thing in the world and burn everything down. You're just like, we're as good today, we need to, or whatever is that. And you're getting that with Conor Cody, James
If it was Rondon that missed that chance that Maupay missed, it's that thing, isn't it? Your head would be like, he's crap, he's right, because he's just in that bracket of the ones that we don't like, innit? Whereas if you've got players in where, when you've seen what everything else, the output that Maupay's put into the game, you can excuse that miss, because you go, the fella's worked for you and grafted for you, and that's all you can ask, isn't it?
You just, in that first half, like I said, I thought we totally controlled the first half, I really did, until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, last few minutes we needed the half-time.
We needed half-time, Liverpool, and it come from a brilliant save from Jordan Pickford. It was a great ball by Joe Gomez and a good run by Darwin Núñez, and great control on the chest, brilliant volley, and a wonderful save from Pickford. And we had a little bit of luck, obviously we had a lot of luck with the Diaz shot. It's the post and goes behind him.
I thought that was in.
But that kind of woke Liverpool up a little bit for that last few minutes. But as a first half derby performance goes, I thought it was excellent, but what a save by Pickford.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Little Lambs.
No, I listen. They had a really good side. Do you know what I mean? They had a really good side, and we stopped them doing anything really, apart from just having periods of possession. Maybe we'd stop them doing anything. And it's a ball over the top. They've caught us high, and he's done well. And he's hit the first time. It's a great save. The second one I said, it's sort of on that spot, isn't it? It's a half a centimetre. It's it's like the Mari Grays versus Arsenal, isn't it? And we got away with one. We got away with one, but that's football for you.
They got away with the Davies one, hadn't they?
That's football for you, and you learn from it. And I think we did learn from that moment, and no one panicked, and no one was like, jittery about it, and we just got on with it, and we saw the rest of the half out, and it was a fantastic save. But that's what he's there. It's his job, isn't it? That's what your goalie's there for. We didn't have an amazing team in the 80s because Nev was just standing with his arms folded. Nev was the best goalie in the world, and he had to make massive saves. And no one, you don't turn around and go, Everton were rubbish, but the goalie's boss. You just go, that's his job. That's his job.
Well, Alisson made a good save from Gordon. It was better than the thingy because he come through play and he did well to hold it in the first half. Gordon obviously didn't have a very good game. That was one of the things.
Alisson had a good game.
But Alisson, and that's a goalie who's played in it. He's won the league with Liverpool and keeps them where they are at times when they need them, because he's a fantastic keeper. So it's a great save. I thought second half, I thought Liverpool come out in the first 20 minutes. I thought they upped the tempo, and Firmino came on at half time, and he's such a clever footballer, and he drops into pockets of space, and he gives us something different to worry about. It was an
improvement for them, wasn't it, with that Carvalho, because that game was a bit too big for him, wasn't it?
Wasn't in it at all.
I think everybody was a bit too big for him.
But he just wasn't in it.
He wouldn't get on the rides, I don't think, was him.
But I thought Firmino give them that extra little bit of class, and they really had us, didn't he? We had one went fizzing across the box, and Tsimikas hit it over. And we had to that was a little bit where we were wobbling, I thought.
Yes. Again, it goes back to sort of what Ped said. I think again, we don't keep going back, but last season, that momentum change that they had there, they just obliterated us, because we wouldn't have had the character and the mentality to be able to get out of it. But, you know, those calm heads at the back, because obviously we've talked about the midfield, but Tarkowski and Cody, just, they're an Everton centre-back pair, and that's what we crave, innit? You know, just not complete no-nonsense, because the irony is I think they're both very good on the ball as well. Yeah. But they've got that body on the line type attitude, and, you know, you can get behind it, you can feel it, but they're also calm. They don't lose their heads, and throughout all the mayhem that's going on, they keep level-headed. Yeah. And I think that's massive, because in you know, with Michael Keane and stuff, he just started crying and ran off and asked for his mum or something. But so those
milk.
Yeah, but those moments, they you know, that builds otherwise.
They thrive on those moments though. Cody thrives through those moments. He wants that. You know, James Tark, the characters, the leaders. Yeah, they don't.
They're old style MC.
Yeah, and that's why they're fantastic. That's why we like them. Yeah. That's why, you know, I've always liked Cody, and for that reason, because look at Michael Keane, and Michael Keane can be having a good day, and it only takes one little thing, and his confidence drains, and you watch it drain out of him. Where Cody's more like, you know what, when we scored the goal, I was really worried there'd be a big deflation, you know, all around the ground and even within the players, but it wasn't. It was back on it.
Yeah.
You know, back on it. You immediately
still win it.
Back on the game. You know, all right, that's part of football. It's gone now. We get on with it. Yeah. You know, but you would see it in a couple of minutes later. Everton players would still have their minds on what could have been. There's a little bit more nous there now. Definitely. More leaders. I think, you know, we've been relying on Seamus Coleman for years to be
on his own,
to push us through. Wow. There's too many
and I think with Coleman at that stage of his career, he just needs to focus on his
game, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
But see, what's interesting about Jordan Pickford being the captain is he will talk to people, and it does give him that authority to have a little go at people, which is spot on. But it's the old there's also leaders on the pitch who don't need the armband to lift them up, definitely. And that's hugely important, I think, in football. People can go on about the psychology and all this of football. There is so much attached to what proper leaders and people grabbing hold of you. Get up, we're in a game here. Get off your arse. Don't show them that you're hurt. That still goes on in the game. I know we live in a very sort of touchy-feely society, and I've got no problem with that, and we should all share our feelings. But in sport, you've just got to get up.
Yeah, can't show
You've just got to get up and get on with it. That's just the way it is in all sport.
The between the lines thing that was posted the other day, Frank Lampard and Ferdinand talking, and Ferdinand's like, do you have to bite your lip sometimes in the dressing room, and do you shake because of the way and Lampard's like, yeah, because we had in our day, you just get bollocked and you got on with it. You got on with it, and I understand what you're saying, and you're right, there's different ways, but to me, in that dressing room, at any level, Sunday League, people would tell you when you were having a nightmare, no matter how high, it never changed how high the higher I went on playing football, it never changed. And then when it dropped back down against Sundays, my I was crap. I said something to someone, went, you've missed 3 sitters, shut your mouth, get on with it, get us a goal, you go, oh yeah, you should be you've got to be able to, because you're all in a team, and we see it. We've seen it Ellen Road the other night when that fella put his head on. Gordon didn't back down. Fair play to Tarkowski, straight over, bang.
I think that's the difference, though. I think in modern football, I don't think necessarily a coach or a manager can tell you those things. But I think the fella playing next to you can. Yeah. I don't think a manager.
Still think you need your
manager. No, but I don't think I think a manager. I always remember Mourinho when they were getting beat 3-0. I think he was playing maybe Real Madrid, and they were getting beat 3-0 at half time, and he actually didn't walk in the dressing room. He shut it and stayed outside. He let them sort it out. Yeah. I think there is that.
But that's because they had leaders.
No, but I think that's the point, though, isn't it? I think there's an aspect of your manager is the fella and your coach who talks to you day to day. I don't think it's up to him at times to bollock you. No, I think it's up to the players who are your equals.
So is that the biggest thing Everton have done?
100%. It's those two, and I think it's allowed. I know Nana, and I think Iwobi's getting a little bit more of it now. And I look at Patterson, he's growing. I think all the players are growing into players where that you can say to the fella next to you, get up. Don't show them. Don't show them. I don't want to see people. And to be honest, I tell you what, that's what disappointed about Anthony Gordon on Saturday, is that I never saw that side of him. He looked far too much time on Saturday like he had his head down, and he was focusing on his own game and not joining in with how the rest of the team were rising up to it.
Yeah.
Nathan Patterson was like a bull in a china shop on Saturday. He wasn't letting anyone go.
Was that, do you think? Because I've seen a few people, in my opinion, wrongly saying he was devastated he didn't get
Nonsense.
the right, which
Nonsense.
I think is absolute nonsense. But do you think it was the other way of, like, because of what had happened at Anfield, he wanted to try and stay calm in the game?
He just
never got into the game.
I seen it really early on, and I just knew it wasn't going to be his day.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't
like,
there was a couple of times it went down towards their fans, and it was he looked a little bit scared of the occasion. He looked like the rest of the team were up for it and were on it and had that mentality, but for whatever reason he just didn't look like he was there. And there was a couple of moments where, I mentioned this before, there was a 50-50 near the halfway line, and he bottled it, and it led them getting in round the back. And it was like the rest of the team were on that level where they knew they had to win those little battles, but he wasn't. And that's where you've got to be. And I think we spoke the last of the week about him replacing Richarlison. He has to get that little switch which goes, today I'm going to be horrible. And if I don't do it in a skillful way, I'll do the other side of the game. Yeah. And he just wasn't there. He never put in 100%.
What you just said there, I think he's trying to find that balance. So I think the end of last season, the irony was he was the only leader we had on.
He was, yeah.
A 20-year-old lad running around, like getting the crowd going, putting in the tackles. Now, again, obviously you've been more an attacking player, but when you're running around constantly, and when you do get the opportunities, your mind's not there to take the clarity. So I would imagine, and obviously we're all just surmising, I would imagine there's an element of Lampard's trying to get him to not be that person that has to be the leader.
Yeah,
he had to ride it the back end of last season because there was no one else. He's got proper leaders in now, and he's probably going, look, I need you to be a bit more concentrating on your... And it's that fine line, because I think he needs to play a little bit on the edge to get the best out of himself. Yeah. So I just give him a few weeks. I reckon...
Don't forget he's had 3
as well. He's
had 3 bookings already, which is 2 away from a suspension. Yeah. So I think some days, we've all done this, haven't we, when we had a game of footy, is that for whatever reason, you're just not on it. If you don't on it, you want it.
You don't start well.
You don't start,
and things get away to that level.
You can't, for whatever reason.
Yeah, just quite get into it.
Your biorhythms aren't quite at the
right
right
levels.
I
think there was another one where I can't remember, but someone gave him a right bollocking because he never got back and protected Michalenko. And he just stood there going, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm playing forward. And do you know what I mean? He had that little bit of a like, well, and it's like, no, in this game, you don't do that. Yeah. In a game like today, you don't answer back. You just get back.
Do your job.
Because that's the point. It's like if someone says to you, get your arse back, you don't, because that's where... And it's don't get me wrong, I'm not making a mountain out of a molehill, by the way. It's just that in those games, if someone tells you to get up off the floor and dust yourself, you do it. If someone tells you to get back, you just say yes and you do it the next time. You don't go, well, you don't make excuses for your own performance in days like that, because good sides will go, doesn't fancy it today, him. Doesn't fancy it, I can tell.
I was disappointed because we know how good Trent Alexander-Arnold is going that way. Yeah. But he's not very good going the other way. He leaves you big gaps. And the first half, they're playing below where I'm sitting, there was huge gaps. He's not switched on half the time, Alexander-Arnold, because he just wants to go forward.
The odd occasions when he swept.
Yeah.
Gueye
when
over. And Gueye was
I thought Gueye had a good game, to be fair.
Yeah, I thought
Gueye was good, just wasn't on it. But listen, it was what it was.
But what I would say to that is, I think on a day like when you're playing like a Liverpool or a Man City, they all have to be on it, and it only takes that one player not on it to just...
I think he worked hard enough, don't get me wrong. There was, if you think back,
I've seen worse performances.
Trent Alexander-Arnold wasn't flying up and down the line. He was doing it was him on the ball that disappointed me. It wasn't his off the ball work. It was just he never really had those moments. In my mind, going into the game, he was going to be driving at Trent, and I thought Trent will be kicking him, he'll be booked early on, and they'll have a problem. And it never materialised. And I don't think it was because Alexander-Arnold played him brilliantly. Gordon just wasn't quite at it. But listen, he's a 20, like you said, he's a 21-year-old kid.
For everything that's positive that's happened in the transfer window, I think that's where we all, obviously every Everton fan wanted that final jigsaw piece, didn't we, have an attacking option. And I was looking at the bench, And it was like,
Yeah, there's nothing there.
that's what we're
For
lacking
that area.
for exactly that.
But when Dom, I guess when Dom's back, we'll have the option of either playing Maupay out there or him coming on in that role or whatever. So there will be another option. We had a absolutely glorious chance after we brought Garner on, didn't we? Which Davies had an excellent game. Garner come on after an hour, brilliant substitution by the manager.
His very first touch was just incredible.
Was boom, straight in, killed, dropped the shoulder,
got the pass
and off he went. And he to me just looked like he'd been playing last week. Yeah. And I loved this message on Instagram. I was like, wow, Goodison Park, I've missed you and all. Because he wouldn't have seen it like that, would he? Not. I don't think he'd never seen a bus welcome and the noise when he come on was incredible. And he was absolutely brilliant. And we just had the little switch where Onana could just go a bit further forward then, and he just protected. And what struck me about him, we'll get on to the chance, what struck me about him was how comfortable he was on the ball again. He'd like kind of forgotten how good he was in possession.
He will have got better. There was one where he smashed it into Michalenko. It was like he was smashing into Messi. Yeah. It was like that's the level he's been playing at. He's been playing at a level where your players improve, don't they, to get better? And he's got better. And
definitely got better in possession.
People will say, oh, his age and everything. Oh, man, that doesn't bother me at all. He come into that pitch and it's like they made subs that were going to change the game, and obviously, as the game went on towards the end, you could tell the difference of the levels of the freshness and stuff. But he came on and he was just like a Rolls Royce, and that's the mark of a quality player. Didn't take any time to settle in, went straight into the team. I mean, this is a fella who's trained one day with the team as well. 1 day, so that's an intelligence, that's a tactical intelligence. He's gone into the team. Him and Onana, switched the roles and. He's class. He's just a class act. And again, he's another one where it's an absolute no-brainer with a deal. An absolute no-brainer. Anyone, I heard all this stuff for different kinds of reasons. I understand some of the reasons, but someone as a footballer, you're finished and all this.
Gareth Barry was still unbelievable.
The value we can add to those other midfielders, like your James Garner and obviously Onana, and even for Tom Davies, it's just brilliant signing. Absolutely brilliant signing.
But just after that, we had what was a absolutely unbelievable moment, which started from a Liverpool corner. Yeah. And Gueye picked the ball up and off he went. And he was, like I said, I thought he had his best game this season. For me, Gueye, brilliant. He was a real threat every time he ran it. Sometimes he hasn't got an end product. On this one, he did have the end product. If we have a look at the stills, this is us breaking from their corner. And what's unbelievable about this is 5 players steaming to get forward. In fact, that's Garner on the halfway line. That's Gueye there. We're flying forward, Onana's there. If we take it on, Gueye does brilliantly, cuts it back, and then it's at Maupay's feet. Look at Onana on his own for a tap in. And all Maupay does, what he should do is place it into the other corner. That's where he should be aiming. What's mad is that fella in front of him is Mo Salah, who steamed back from the corner, so fair play to Salah. But if he just squares it or rolls it to Onana, there's a tapping on the line. And listen, he's a centre forward.
I was going to say,
on his debut, in the middle of the thing. But all I wanted them, even if he's not going to pass it, for me, play where the gap is. Play where the gap is.
He never
got it out of his feet.
Control of the ball. He was falling as he was kicking it. Yeah. And if he leaves it, I think Garner's got to tap in. And if he passes it, Onana's got to tap in. And that was the most frustrating.
Is he going to pass it as a striker?
No, he's not. But that's just frustrating.
I'd Bamona striker passing the ball there. I'd want me
not if he taps it in. I wouldn't say Gueye. What a genius! What a visionary! I get it, but what a player!
I think your striker's got to be able to stop it.
My disappointment, Mike, was it didn't go the other corner.
Where he's gone to. But I said to that camera, didn't I? Maupay's interview afterwards was brilliant because he said the energy and the pace that they were attacking at, for him to keep up. He said by the time he got there, he's basically he just had jelly legs. He was, and he admitted and apologised for it.
You've seen the camera, I said to you before, the camera went on him at the final whistle. And you're seeing him go like that, as if like I had that moment. But listen, it was a fan. We didn't score, and it was, you like that, oh my God, what a chance. But what really pleased me was the speed that we broke at. And you see them, like, we've just been defending a corner against the second best team in the land. And the next minute, we're breaking 5-on-3. They're renowned for being quick out of transition. We were so quick. And you think, imagine doing that to other teams, just being able to do that to teams who aren't as good as Liverpool.
Well, teams where you get in those situations 2 or 3 times a game.
Exactly. So, that was what gave me a load of confidence from that. And obviously, a few minutes later, we suffered the VAR thing. Just throw that still up, Ned, for us, or Paige. Sorry, I mean, this was the moment. It was gutting, wasn't it? Because we obviously in the game, you know, Dari Gray does really well and keeps it alive, puts it back in, and Maupay does brilliantly. Actually, just goes to chest it across the defender, Milner, and he hits it. And obviously, at the time, you see Cody arriving, traps it in. You look for the lines, and there's no
you're
flag,
looking and it's not going.
And he goes shell it. And there was just pandemonium everywhere, everywhere. And needless to say, you know, I always think with VAR, when it takes that long, they're looking for something to rule it out with. Because it should be an instant thing. My only thing, I'm not sitting here crying about it, but the only reason why I feel like it should be allowed is it hits Milner's foot. Yeah. It's a shot by Maupay that deflects off Milner's foot and goes to that corner. Someone come out and clarify the rules then. Turn around and say, it doesn't matter if it hits a defender. If you're offside, the minute it leaves his foot.
The rule is, if there's an intention to play the ball,
intention to block it,
but then they'll say, well, a block is not intentional to play a ball. Well, what is it then? What are you trying to do? You're trying to stop the ball from going that direction. So your intention is to play the ball. Your intention is, so if the ball had travelled 3 yards, let's say, and then Milner had kicked it, has he intended to kick it? Because that's all it is to me. And it's just that grey area that allows the interpretation. So that if that happened at the other end,
100%.
You can turn around and say, well, it touched them. And that's the problem. It gives us a opportunity to doubt whether that's real or not, and that's the problem. I mean, in real time, you know, I never waited. I celebrated. You only get those moments of fleeting in football. You take them, and if you get the other stuff, then that comes with it now as well. No point sitting there and waiting. But then when I saw the still afterwards, I thought, well, he's offside, isn't he? Yeah. But then the other stuff, did he touch the ball? You can't see if he's touched the ball in a still photo. But I'm not sitting here fuming. I just the rules. Just someone clarify the rules for me.
It's just every game seems to get played with different rules. Everyone,
and that's the problem.
Richard Gueye come out and he said, and I don't know which game he was referring to, but he said because of the deflection, he says it should have been a goal.
He was referring to that, I think.
Yeah. So no, on that, but then he said Liverpool had a goal last season, and I don't know which that one what he was referring to. That was the exact same thing where there was deflection, and that was how they that's how they allowed it to happen. It's like, well, which is it? But you know, I mean, look, and we know it's just corrupt, isn't it? It's as simple as that.
That's how it's kind of like you just said. Because they don't explain it, and then next minute you'll see another team get it.
We don't want everyone to know the rules.
We then go, but we then sit there and go, well, hang on, it's got to be fixed then. Like not fixed, but it's got to be. They've got to be leaning towards teams then, because one decision 1 week is that, and the same decision that week is a different one. And when he hits it, Cody is marginally offside. So if they turn around and it doesn't matter if it deflects, he's off. You'd just go, okay, he was unlucky, it was close. I mean, and like Ped just said, I'm not sitting here going, we were robbed. But you know that sometime this season that goal will be given. The same thing will be given because it's hit the lad's foot.
I think, and this isn't just being bitter about it and all that, but we all know if that was at the other end, the reason it was given was because it took a deflection.
We just seen this weekend we've seen West Ham have a goal they should have been given because the lad Mendy rolls around on the floor, and so it's disallowed because it's Chelsea, because they need to, and all that. I think Arsenal were harshly done to at Old Trafford with Martinelli's goal, so there was a push on Eriksen. I didn't see it. They looked at it VAR. It was a normal thing that referees are letting go. We've seen that. We've seen other games with, I know the Brighton one we talk about, that's not really benefiting the team in the top 6, but that was a stupid decision by VAR.
It is at the moment.
So these people, So these people, we had one the other night at Leeds. Literally nothing wrong. He was onside. He was onside, and
I don't know how you can look at that.
They turned out and went, we went with the on pitch decision.
I've got no idea.
What do you mean you went with the on? Well, the on pitch decision in this one then was Cody was onside.
Don't forget, we had one last season where it was the handball, and they said they just didn't have a camera angle. I mean, that's what you're dealing with. Newcastle suffered one on the weekend where the ref didn't even get to see the angle, which showed that the Newcastle play was pushed in the back. That's what you're dealing with. That's the nonsense you're dealing with
Yeah.
at this level now. Of like, well, we didn't have the angle. What do you mean you didn't have the angle?
All the cameras have got it though. All the pictures are there.
Oh, it's
And yet you'll take 4 minutes over an offside. You'll take 4 minutes in the Brighton game. You'll take 3 minutes in our game.
If anything takes longer than 30 seconds when you look at it,
honestly,
then
I think
you be fair to the
5
referee.
seconds.
I think. No, but if
can't tell.
if it's longer than 30 seconds, you go with the on-pitch
Yeah, yeah.
decision. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
You look and you go. And if that's the case the other night and Gueye was offside because the linesman put his
Yeah.
flag up, then fine, he's offside then. If
Yeah.
you look and go within 30 seconds, I can't tell, we'll go
Yeah,
with
we're not
the... You go,
definitive. Yeah.
but don't have us stood there going, what do you reckon? 3 minutes
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
game. Brighton, like you said, was 4 minutes. This to me is just utter nonsense.
No,
Supposed to be the
it's
best
just-
league in the world. And this calamitous everywhere. It's not just Everton. We fall foul of it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've just mentioned Liverpool fell foul of it the other week with Rashford.
Yeah.
To me, he was more offside than what Conor Cody was and what Damari Gray was at least the other night.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was given.
Yeah.
Manchester United had one yesterday. Is this a thing to make sure is it
need them in the
United's
top four,
turn
don't
to
they?
get in the top four
Oh, yeah,
because
they
they don't
need
like
them,
Damari? And if people explained it, we'd never think this because you go, oh, do you reckon it's that? And
Do you
everyone
remember
would
at the
go,
start of
"Dumb
the
shit."
season, it was we were going to wear the conversations between the ref and VAR?
Ped said that a few
Well, what's
times. We've
happened
not
to
heard
that?
anything. And you might get it, like Ped said, you might get it retrospectively. So we'll get it next year when it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
With an apology.
After that, obviously the goal, it was gutting and all that. And I suppose Liverpool fans had our Steven Gerrard moment when we were laughing at him when he was on his knee slide, didn't he? Which is fine. The only time we heard them really. They were quite quiet, weren't they? But
Oh, they were awful.
But Jordan Pickford, before and after that, needed to make some fun. He had three in about a minute, which he made, which were brilliant.
Yeah.
Weren't they? And he had a top performance, right?
He did. I thought he was just all round good, solid performance. Just what you need, what we said before, but what you got there to do.
Pause. Let's have a look at his numbers and we'll come straight back to what you're saying. These are his numbers from the weekend. There you go. Jordan Pickford v Liverpool. 8 saves, 7 in the box.
When did he make 7? When did he make another save?
Where was the other save if he wasn't in the box? Okay, Ned, we'll be having a stewards over that one.
From the ball being inside the box.
Whatever.
Oh, okay. So a shot from outside the box. Fair play. Well done, you've cleared it up, I've asked you. See, that didn't take 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, normally
You
does.
should be head of VAR.
No, shut up. High claims, he made one high claim. His long balls only completed 5.
That was his only disappointing
His distribution, I thought, was poor at the
Yeah.
weekend. But
Was, yeah.
overall, 8 saves. I know a couple of them were ones you'd expect, but he made some good saves.
He
as
made
well,
some good
didn't he?
saves. Like I said, I do think there were ones that...
You played in goals, so you
No,
you
so
know.
I'm always a bit over. Like I don't go over the top of it.
Yeah.
I thought he had a very good, solid game, but
Yeah, yeah.
to be paid to do. I think if any of those went in, I think you'd be questioning them as well. So yeah, no, really good, solid game.
I think you're being a touch harsh there.
Oh,
If Nunes has won the first half,
that went over his head, I think you'd be fuming if that went over his head.
I don't know.
I
was fuming with him the other night, Leeds goal, because that was just bad.
Yeah,
to me,
didn't
it was
even
bad
move,
goal.
did he? But no, look, they're really, really good.
The one
saves,
from
good,
Firmino,
solid
I
saves.
thought was a brilliant save.
Yeah,
That he took
I think that was the best one. The one of your first time, and he got down low to. I think, yeah, really, really good, solid game. But yeah, the whole media just playing on that as if like we got battered because he. Yeah. Alisson had just as good game.
Alisson
but, you know, like
key
down the
saves,
other
didn't
end,
he?
yeah, key saves at moments, stuff. But no, really good game, but a good captain's performance as well. I
Yeah,
thought his attitude and his mentality to everything was
He didn't
good.
get caught up in the moment, did he?
No.
He made a save because you had to make 3 on the bounce there.
Yeah.
He didn't get caught up in the moment. That's what he's been guilty of in the past.
Yeah.
The only
definitely.
one he celebrated was the one from Mo Salah with literally the last kick of the game that he pushed
Tipped
onto the post.
Yeah.
Was the only one he celebrated. Everything else, but I thought he was brilliant on Saturday. He really was. And like I said, I thought he could have done much better at Leeds with that goal. But Saturday, I thought he was brilliant. Only his kicking, which he's normally really good at. But listen, it is what it is. But Everton still had another couple of moments after the goal, the Cody goal. We'd had an Iwobi shot that went wide, hadn't we, when he took it down and hit it
Good shot,
instinctively.
yeah.
But we had one from Dwight McNeil who came on as a sub, and I'm a little bit surprised the manager never questioned why it wasn't looked at by VAR for a penalty.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of stills, and I think people probably just thought at the time it hit James Milner on the head.
Yeah, when you're there at the moment, it's hard
Because
to
it was
see.
a quick
of course,
one, but when you actually see it again,
yeah.
James Milner puts his arm out and moves his arm to the ball. If his arm's in, it hits him. You'd go, what can he do? It's because it hits Van Dijk first, but he moves his arm and it actually deflects the ball. We've got a couple of stills and you can see there, look where his arm is.
Yeah,
Van Dijk's putting his head out, his elbow goes towards the ball. And what that does is loops the ball up, which is why Alisson then makes a fantastic save from it. And I think on the other one,
see again,
it's looped up, you see, it's hit him and that's where the ball's going.
The question is, it's took a deflection off Virgil van Dijk. So the question is again, is that on ball? Is it not on ball? You know,
but if you motion towards it, it's handball.
I'm a little teapot there.
That's it. That's
it's because but that's the problem, isn't it? The rules are so. They seem to be so subjective, or someone will come out and go, well, actually, in paragraph 8.34, actually, there's not enough. There's not enough being said about what it is. Yeah. We've seen some mad decisions.
So on the other
that's not any worse than
at the back turned.
Luca Dean's against Palace was shocking decision. So, you know, it's because that's took a deflection. Well, okay, it's took a deflection, but it's on the arm.
Yeah, but he moves his arm.
That's what I'm saying. He still hits him on the arm. So therefore, if that had been an Everton player who took a deflection off,
Everton player claimed.
No, I know,
but that was probably
should he have to claim? No, that's the point. If that deflects off an Everton player, hits him on the arm, and it's going in, then what's the difference? I don't understand that rule in the first place. Handball, surely handball. You've got your arm in a weird position.
He's motioned to stop that ball.
He motions the shot, yeah.
He doesn't know it's going to hit Van Dijk when he's motioned to do that. And then it's clipped Van Dijk, then it's his arm. But if it didn't hit Van Dijk,
like I say, if he stood like that, and it hits Van Dijk and hits him there, I mean, what can he do?
Again,
but it's because he goes.
We all know the reason why, don't we? And that's what's, there's been 3 contentious or marginal decisions in the game. The offside goal, that handball, the Van Dijk red card, and none of them have gone in our favour. And I genuinely believe if all 3 of them were down the other end, I think they'd get all 3 of them. I don't think there's one of them that would.
It is the Van Dijk one, listen, and I've seen loads of Evertonians say it was a red card, and when you stop it in the still, it's a red card when you stop the still. I don't know whether he's just made the most. It was a lazy tackle for me. Onana just done him, and he was lazy and he put his foot out. I understand when you stop it, you go to red card. I also understand why some people go, well, not every time. If I get there,
I don't think it's a red card.
You commit
in football, I don't think that should be a red card.
No, but you might be thinking what I'm thinking. Yeah. The only frustration I have with it, and I'm not standing here going, that changed it, because it didn't. Yeah. It was just the way it was in the game, and I've been to derbies where we've kicked shite out of each other. It's just that some weeks that will be a red card, and that's the thing again. That's not anything to do with Liverpool or Van Dijk. That's more again back at the referees or VAR. Is that some weeks that's a red, but on Saturday it wasn't. See, so when decision after decision after decision in a game, like you just said, you come away and go, there was 3 there we could have been given, and we haven't got any. Yeah. You then start going, hang on, well, if it had been the other way round, would it have been the same?
Put it this way: if Onana leaves his foot like that on Van Dijk, do you think he's getting sent off?
Yeah.
And that's all we, and everyone, I think everyone knows he would, and that's what you can't.
It is.
You're playing different rules. It's hard enough playing it as it is. Playing these teams with more money and better players, and you're playing different rules than them, and it's starting to really.
It is grim. One of the plays we did speak about and looked at his chance was Maupay, and again we spoke about him at the start and thought he had a good game. Well, let's just see his numbers from the weekend. 24 touches, key passes 4. Won 50% of his duels, had 4 shots at goal, and missed 1 big chance. But I thought for a lad who's not played all season, I thought it was a solid start, and it gave us more mobility and give us the blueprint, if you like, to how that system would work. And obviously, we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin to come back in, who does like to score goals.
He's centre forward. Played like a centre forward. And
it's one of them, isn't it, where you don't want to go over the top. It was just a decent, solid performance. What you would hope for and expect, and room to grow by the looks of it.
Not Dominic Calvert-Lewin, not Rondon.
Yeah,
somewhere in the middle, closer to Dom, but
nowhere in between.
Yeah, somewhere closer to Dom. So, and it's got some little different aspects of his game to like Dom. Like he can beat a player with the ball.
Give options, can't you, though, in different games, different options.
Manager said Dom and Maupay are completely different players, but that's good. Yeah. It's good for the squad, so that when Dom comes back, Maupay can play as well in the team. Yeah. And we can find a different way of playing.
If he was another tall back to goal striker, then You know, plain two.
There's only one of them, yeah.
So, I mean, overall, you know, obviously you've got a point. I think it was a fair result. I think I said it before. We were lucky and unlucky in the same sentence. You know, we could have easily lost the game. We could have easily won the game.
Yeah.
But, you know, 5 games unbeaten if you include the cup game as well, which I think is a good thing to keep it ticking over. But were you come out the ground, were you feeling like, you know what, we played quite well, it's a good result?
Definitely. I think like I say, I think everyone will come out with the same feeling. Like you say, you come out the ground, a little bit of regret because
the
goal and the little moments, but proud. And I know it sounds a bit pathetic, but
but after what we watched last
season, to be able to walk out and be proud of the performance and the team that's getting put together, that's massive, because that's what you go for, don't you? Forget what all the teams are doing and what's all going on. I just want to go to the game and enjoy and be proud of what I'm seeing, of the team I support and what they're putting in. And I think he's moulding a team and a squad now that we can get behind and we can see what's happening. And if you just take away all the media bollocks and all the blame that everyone else comes out with him, we all know and can see what's happening. So we come out to that, not celebrating the draw per se, but celebrating the performance and the attitude and the fact we've given one of the better teams in Europe a real game. I think it just bodes well for what's to come. You've got Calvert-Lewin to come back. I think we've now got 12 games before transfer window opens again as well. So that other attacking, maybe winger play, if you just add that to the squad, it feels very balanced and complete. So I think it's, we've got the right man at the helm. Fans are behind him. We've got players we're starting to sort of believe in. We've got a good balance in the squad between youth and experience, and they can start. You can build with that, can't you? You've got a bedrock with the experience, and them youthful players like Gordon. They're going to have ups and downs. Onana's going to have ups and downs, and we've got to almost don't get on the bat with it. We know that's going to happen. You know, I think Onana with quite risky in possession, so the odd time he is going to lose it. But if we get behind these lads, you can see them, and you know, just little things. But again, it sounds Saturday as a grown adult a bit pathetic, but you know, when you see them and you see the passion, Patterson's passion, Cody, Iwobi, Onana at the end, and he's giving it. It's what you want, isn't it? So I think most of us, or all of us, will have come out and have been proud of the performance and proud that we can all turn up to work the next day and not feel ashamed about the club we support for a change. So going in the right direction.
I think it's important, isn't it? Like Mike said there, just drown out all the other nonsense about he's under pressure for the sack and he haven't won and all that, because we know as fans, we've seen all of the bus stuff beforehand and the noise in the ground, and then you're seeing it. I think the biggest indicator is the players clapped off the pitch again at the end, and they put everything in, and like Mike said, against one of Europe's top sides, we had a right good goal,
performances, isn't it? And then, you know, you've got to back it up with another performance next week. Tough game. You've got to back it up, and then if you have 2 or 3 back to back, and then people on the outside start noticing, then the pressure goes off from the outside. And it all looks just
better,
and the wins I'm sure will come, because we're not a terrible team.
No,
we are a team that needs to score some goals and win some games, yes, but you've got a team there that looks comfortable playing in the way it does, and isn't overstretching. Like, if it's been a Merseyside derby where I'm sitting here going, you know, or other people, there's been little mentions alluded to this because it's a Merseyside derby, everyone wrote. I didn't feel like that at all. I felt like it was just the next step of what we've seen in the last week, of like everyone's gone up a little bit every game, and the team has got more together, and everyone knows, and you just add little pieces, and as they all fit together and get to know each other, and you added a centre forward, and once that gel and complete, and Don comes back and Garner's available every week, and it'll better players make a better team, and therefore you should go and win games.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science. And as long as the manager knows what structure he wants, then it you know, we should be all right. Should be all right. We'll have a decent team that we can believe in. Like Mike said,
away performances against Leeds and Brentford, albeit, you know, in terms of attacking side, but we knew the failings for those games. But again, I just think last season we get rolled over in both those games.
Leeds have just been bounced 5-2 at Brentford.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but we stuck in those games with character, with fight, and that's where you start from, isn't it? Away from home, last season, if we'd have just picked up a few draws, we'd have been comfortably in the top 10.
Yeah,
you know, so no, there's a load of positives. But yeah, obviously we're craving that first win, but we know it'll come. So
it's coming. Let's have a look at the match stats before we finish. There you go. 14 shots for Everton, 23 for Liverpool, 3 on target for us, 8 for them.
Ned and his famous match there with the
I
possession.
don't know, that's some funky possession, isn't it?
What's going on with the
that's all
possession
right.
there, Ned?
Yeah, it's 48.
Yeah,
Was it 60,
plus 61.
I thought it was 46.
What did the ref have the other
54.
percent, did he?
The ref kept it, yeah.
VAR kept it.
109% there. One big chance, he ignored the possession. There's the completed passes as well. The Pendamich XG, you look at Everton Liverpool's XG was exactly the same. Pendamich site you go on other ones it was slightly different, but there you go. It ended 0-0 and that's all you need to know. Let us
The
know
only stat that matters.
That's it, does. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Impressed if you'd never thrown in with what Frank Lampard's doing. If you'd have read, what did
Get
you
off the
think?
channel.
What did you think? Let us know what you thought in the comments. We're carrying on now on Toffee TV Premier with a bit of a Q&A. So if you want to become a Toffee TV Premier member, click the link in the description or the QR code that's coming on the screen now. Thanks for watching. See you later. $46.54. Sorry,